Hey guys, we have Karla Sandoval here with us at the Next Level Experience. As you know, we interview successful entrepreneurs here on my show, and Karla is the CEO of EntrepreneurialIntelligence.com, and she's also the executive president in the Herbalife International team. So, Karla, thank you very much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to be with us in this Google Hangout. And as you know, I'm committed to bringing you the best people that I know in my network that could give you the insights of what it's like to go to the next level. So welcome, Karla. Thank you for taking your time to be in the show today.
No, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your story, because I know that some of the people who follow you, and you have thousands of followers. I mean, I've been to your event, and to be honest with you, I felt like I was a superstar just because I was associated with you. Like people asking me for my autograph before I opened my mouth just because I was hanging around with Karla. That's how much power she has.
Well, you know, you're the one that teaches the power of synergy, right? The power of proximity. So just to tell you a little bit about my story, you know, I actually started my business at a very young age. You know, I think that when you're an entrepreneur since you were little. I mean, I definitely started my business at 23, but since I can remember, I was that typical girl that was selling things door to door when I needed some extra money. So, you know, my parents, being immigrants from Mexico, they always said, you got to go to school, get an education. And so I followed that track. And so I went to USC, got my degree in business. And after graduating, you know, I got a job, but I was only there for 3 months because something inside of me just said, I don't belong here. And so I quit after 3 months. I grabbed my stuff, went up to Sacramento, and didn't know what I was going to do. And if there's anybody young out there listening, I got the best advice from the founder of Kinko's. Once came to USC, and he spoke, and he said, he talked to all of us, and he said, if there was ever a time for you to start your business, it is now. You know, how many of you guys are not married? Well, all of us raised our hands. And he said, don't have kids. All of us raised our hands. And he said, if there was ever a time, it's now. Because the worst thing you could do if you fail, you go and sleep on your parents' couch. And that always got in the back of my mind. I was like, you know what? He's right. If there was ever a time, it's now. And the other thing that made me make that decision of quitting and starting my own business at 23 was another professor, CEO of Porsche, said to me, he came up to me and I don't know, I think he saw something in me. I was not a typical student. I was always kind of rebellious. And he asked me, like, what do you want to do? And I told him, I said, you know, I really want to start my own business. But I'm scared. I said everything I said, you know, typical concerns of an entrepreneur, all the unknowns. And he said to me, work now like most people your age are not willing to work, so you can later live like they only wish they could. And I really took that to heart. And I said, you know, between those two guys and a lot of other circumstances, I quit, I packed my bags, I went up to Sacramento, and with $6 to my name and a whole lot of desire, I started my business. And I didn't have a car. You know, I was living in my parents' house. Somebody said I was living, what did they say? A rich man's welfare. Because I was living in a beautiful home, but with no money, because that was my parents' home. So anyhow, long story short, I started with $6 to my name, went to the dollar store, grabbed an album, bought an album, put some before and after pictures, because Herbalife is a nutritional and wellness company. We help people transform their health and their well-being. Most people use the products to lose weight. So I took all these before and after pictures, and I just started talking to people everywhere. And, you know, it was not easy. I got to tell you, I probably cried just about every single day, the beginning phases of my business, but I never gave up. I have an amazing mother that said to me in Spanish, let me translate this in English. She said, if everything that were easy were worth having, any idiot would have it.
Wow.
It sounds a lot better in Spanish, but yeah. And so she's like, Karla, nothing that's worth having is easy. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. And so I did. And you know, one of the things throughout my story, I want to drop some nuggets for you guys. And you know, I started my business, and 3 months later, I put together a plan. I had a burning desire. I put together a plan, and I stuck to the plan day in, day out. I mean, I could tell you hour by hour what I used to do from 8 to 11, from 11 to 1. I mean, I had everything scheduled out because I think that's one of the biggest things that a lot of entrepreneurs miss out on is that now you're your own boss and we get to call the shots. And a lot of the times the shots that we call are not the appropriate productive ones, you know. So I remember this lady saying, you treat your business like $1 million business, it will respond like $1 million business. So I did. That was another thing that was in the back of my mind. And anyhow, 3 months later, I've been working my butt off, and guess what, Raul? I hadn't gotten rich yet, and I was so disappointed. And that's the thing I think a lot of us have. You know, my generation, we want everything like yesterday.
Instant gratification, want everything instant right now.
Yeah, and when it didn't happen right now, I was doubting myself. I questioned myself, and I'll never forget August 18th and 19th, and I was ready to quit. I want to respect everybody's beliefs, but I do believe that there's somebody up there that's really guiding us, and I really believe that he tests us. And I think God was kind of looking down and thinking, all right, Karla, let's see how bad you really want this. I got a phone call from a girlfriend saying, pack your bags, we're going to London. And I'm like, wait, what? And she's like, pack your bags, we're going to London. All you got to do is bring your own money, everything else taken care of. And I thought, this business is not working. I'm going to go to London. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to get a job. And lucky for me, I told somebody my plan, and she said, are you crazy? You can't stop. You're only 2.5 months in. I'm like, I know, this is not working. She's like, Karla, you're 2.5 months in. You can't quit. I was gonna quit, but the last week of my 90-day plan, and that's something that I still live by today, is that you will see results the last week of your 90-day plan. Like, you put together a plan, and right when you're about to quit, it's like success is right around the corner. And I didn't quit, and that last week, my business, I did like $13,000 in business in 1 week, and I was like, oh my God, this is working. But anyhow, so I kept going, and about 10 months later, so that was 3 months into my business. A year after I started my business, a year and a half, about 13 months, I hit this position called millionaires team member, which basically means my business was now producing $1 million a year. And I just think about it all the time. 24 years old at the time, and I had $1 million business, and 9 months before that, I was about to quit. And I think about that all the time. It's like, what if I had listened to that little voice that said, this is not working? And anyhow, fast forward all these years later, I'm now executive president's team, and my business last year produced over $3 million. And and it's amazing. Sometimes I pinch myself, the kind of lifestyle that I have, all because I didn't quit. So now I'm making it a mission to go out there, and my passion is helping people, but my true passion is helping the Latin market, and that's been my focus, and it's been my passion and my calling for the last year and a half, which is how I actually got to meet you, Raul.
Yeah, and I think that you and I have very much similar stories of our backgrounds. I was born in Ecuador, and I came here when I was 11 years old. And every time we talk about helping the Hispanic community. I truly believe that the Hispanic community it's in the verge of a wake-up call, because there's so many of us right now in the U.S., yet we're not taking advantage of the opportunities that are given to us. So definitely, it's something that both of us are passionate about. But I definitely want to acknowledge you for creating $1 million business in the business that you're in, because I believe that's one of the toughest business right now. I mean, the network marketing space is very competitive. You have so many choices, so many competition out there. That tell me about the mindset that you had to overcome in order for you didn't quit after 90 days, so you had that drive and you had the hunger. But tell me about the mindset and what you had to overcome after the 90 days, because I think that's where the rubber meets the road. Okay, you made a little bit of money. How do you maintain the same level of focus after the 90 days?
Okay, so there's a couple of things. Number one, I had a plan. I live by a phrase. Anytime I want to achieve anything, I literally tell myself, make your plan and don't think.
Hmm.
Because, you know, the moment if I wake up and I think, what am I going to do today? I'm done. You know, I'm done, because the moment I say, what am I going to do today? Guess what? My mind is not being my cheerleader. It's not saying, come on, Karla, you can do it. It's not at all. So what I realized was that if I had a plan and if I knew the night before what I was going to do the next day, I not only would wake up on time and do what I needed to do, but I was very productive. I was on track. So that was number one. I had to have a plan. And when the plan was going around about, I had to literally embed myself in Jim Rohn. He's one of my mentors. I have this little book I carry with me everywhere because, you know, especially I had to, this sounds going to sound a little bad if my friends watch this, but I had to distance myself from a couple of friends. And because they were not my cheerleaders. They were like, how is it possible that you went to USC and now you're working with Herbalife, Karla? What they didn't know was what I knew. So how I kept my mindset, how I kept going was that I kept my eye on the prize. I kept my eye on what I wanted to achieve. And anytime somebody would, you know, it's kind of funny that I was thinking about this morning when I was driving to come and do the hangout with you. I was listening to the song that anytime I felt bad, anytime I felt disappointed, or I felt like I was missing out, there were specific songs I would play in my car. And now I know, thanks to you, right? Those are like anchors. To this day, I hear these specific songs from Mary J. Blige, and it takes me up the hill of El Dorado Hills in Sacramento, where I'm just singing my heart out. And it was like, if my friends were like, let's go to Miami, and I couldn't go to Miami because I'm working, it was like I would put that song on, and it was like I put myself in that state. And that's really how I was able, I mean, now I know they were my rituals, right? And so that's how I did it. I did a lot of personal development. I planned my day the night before, and I had things that empowered me. I had specific songs. Ladies, you'll probably relate to this a little more than guys. Specific ways rituals that I would do before I would go to sleep that would make me feel good and honor my feminine energy, from like putting lotions to putting on perfume, just because it was a long day. Maybe I was beat up and I didn't want to go out one more time. And I wondered, is this worth it? So there were specific things. My girlfriends used to always make fun of me because if I wore this specific robe, they're like, oh, Karla's wanting to feel feminine. I'm like, yes. Because as a woman, sometimes you gotta be a little hard. You gotta bring out that masculine energy. So your mindset will sometimes be so dominant in the male energy that you can lose yourself. And I know I did many times where I bring out my soldier, my samurai comes out, and she is bad. She is so awesome. She can like conquer anything, but she also tires me out. So that's how I was able to overcome all those obstacles and make sure that my mindset was really aligned, was by making sure I had a plan. I was devoted in personal development, and I had things that made me feel good when I wasn't feeling good or I didn't have anybody cheering me on.
You know, I every time I interview people like you, it never fails that people who are successful, they have programmed themselves for success. Like before you hit $1 million, you already had a 90-day plan. You're already talking to yourself about personal development. And for you to go to the next level, it's all about personal development. I have yet met a successful person that said, I've never read a book, I never listened to a positive thing. It's just I woke up one morning and I was successful. It never happens. It is always about the journey. I believe that so many people are interested in success. They're interested in having money. They're interested in having a great life. But interested doesn't mean that you're going to do it. You know, it's commitment, and the commitment to growth, the commitment to learn, the commitment to listen to positive things is what's going to get you to the next level, because the reality is nobody's going to do it for you, and nobody did it for you. You had to do it for yourself because you had to condition your mind every day and get rid of the distractions. And sometimes, as hard as it may sound, some of the family members and some of the friends that we hang out with are distractions in our goal. And it's not like you have to abandon them, but you have to just love them from who they are, but realizing that it is not you, that is about a mission. So tell us about like where you're going now. Like, you know, I know there's a story behind the story at the same time, because you hit success at a young it happened when the success, started to get in too much for you?
So, okay, so I was 23 and I had $1 million business, and very few people achieve that position. I actually have it right here. It's called Millionaires Team Club. And when I hit that goal, all right there actually, when I hit that goal, I thought, how can I say this appropriately? I just thought I was the shit, okay? I don't know how else to say it. I know it's not very feminine. My mother would not approve. But, I just thought I was it. And I remember thinking, oh, my God, what other people, it took them 5 years. I did it in 13 months. And it really went to my head. And I got stuck at that level for 5 years, Raul. 5 years. And, if you ask me, when I was, so here's something that I want to share with you guys to take like a little nugget, and that is when you have momentum, you can't stop doing the things that got you that momentum. So for example, at the beginning, I was reading, I was chanting music in my car. I remember even I would say, ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome, International Millionaires Team member Karla Sandoval. I mean, I would literally do this in the car. And when I was achieving that, I stopped reading. I stopped listening to that music because I was so busy. I mean, I remember working nonstop. We had so much momentum. Our business, I mean, it increased $40,000 worth of business almost month after month after month after month. Wow. I was 24 years old, and I had a group of 80 people getting trained 3 times a week at the DoubleTree Hotel in Sacramento, and I was I was half their age, and so I had no time to read. I had no time for those things that got me to be there. So what happened was I stopped growing. I stopped investing in myself. I was like, I don't have time for that. So guess what happened? I got stuck. And it went to my head. So my energy was not pleasant. My way of being was not cool. Like, people didn't want to be around me. I was so attractive at the beginning. People wanted to be around me. I was like this magnet. I literally would say, I am a magnet for successful people. And I would get all these people. All of a sudden, nobody wanted to be around me. September, I had 80 people in the room. October, 5.
Wow.
5 came back. And my business started going down and down and down. And now that I'm so self-aware, but back then I'm self-aware, but back then I wasn't. So I remember thinking, what's wrong with these guys? Why are they not working? But never did I look in the mirror. Never did I think, who am I being? How am I treating them? I didn't save money. I was, and this is one of the things, if you're Latino, you get this, that when you start reaching success, everybody around you, well, okay, I'll speak for myself. I would feel guilty that I had all this success, that every time we went to lunch, they didn't ask me, but I always paid. Whenever we did anything, it was always me taking care of everybody else. That when my business started going down, I didn't have that savings. I didn't have that cushion because things were going so well that I didn't think it was ever going to change. I didn't prepare, as Jim Rohn says, for the rainy days. And, Jim Rohn has a quote that says, if you don't grow with your business, right, if your business is growing, you don't grow with your business will soon come to where you are at. That's exactly what happened. I didn't grow with my business. My business went like this, and Karla was like this, right? And then soon enough, my business said, okay, let me catch you up, and it came right down to where I was. And that humbles you. It hurts. I was never broke, but I definitely couldn't do the things that I was able to do. I had to move. I had this beautiful place. I had to move to a smaller place. I had, all the luxuries that I had, they had to go away, and I really, although I didn't like that moment, I'm really grateful that I had it, because now, now that I'm involved with the program where I train and develop entrepreneurs on the soft skills of business, specifically women at a USC campus, and I get to now share that with these ladies and say, look, I get it, and if you don't grow, here's what's going to happen to you 5-6 months from now. See, momentum, you first start building, then you got to sustain it, and then you accelerate it. But if you don't keep going, it will start. It's like a bicycle. If you stop pedaling, it's going to slow down, and boom, it's going to fall. And that's what happened. I fell nice and hard. So now I was like 25 around there. And, you know, and it's like, it was terrible. I became disconnected. I was cold. I was rude. I was miserable. And now that whenever I see somebody that's not warm, and they were at one point, I don't judge them. I think, what are they going through? Because I know that was me. I was loving and I was excited and I was passionate, and then all of a sudden, I didn't even want to say hi to you. And people thought I was rude and conceited, but nobody ever stopped and asked, hey, what's going on with you? So now when I see someone like that, I stop and I ask them, what's going on with you? You know, I actually had dinner with AZ last night, and he told me, he's like, I told him something I observed. He's like, you know, Karla, I'll never forget you telling me that. You know what I said? I'm like, yeah, because I've been through it. When someone has that vibe that you can tell that they're good people, but they're going through something, my recommendation is take the time and ask them. Because as entrepreneurs, we live alone. You know, we're so lonely. And we need that community around us to lift us up. And unfortunately, I never had anybody. So it took me 5 years until something hit and said, all right, I'm done. I'm done being the victim. I'm done crying. Let's go. And I picked myself up. It was July 2007, Dallas, Texas. I was at an event, and something happened, and that was it. I was like, that's it. I'm done. You know, and then the following year, I qualified to president's team, which is, you know, only 1% of people in this company get to that level. And now, you know, I'm on a mission to tell the story, like, hey, you know what? It's okay. There's ups and downs. And as our good friend Garrett says, be careful when somebody tells you they've never had a down. Yeah. Because we all have them. We all have them, you know?
Yeah. And I could really, really relate to your story because, you know, when the recession came, I was in the same place. At a young age, you know, I hit pretty much a lifestyle, you will say, would have had millions of dollars in real estate. And like the money kept them coming like crazy. Like it didn't seem or any signs that was going to stop. Yeah. And in 2007 came, and when the market crashed, it was like a cold shower. You know, it's like you try to pretend that it's not there and it's going to get warm. And it took me at least 3 years for me to realize that, hey, it's not going to get better. I need to do something different. But it's exactly what you said. Like I was not around people who were able to tell me, hey, Raul, what's going on with you? Hey, Raul, like, let's look at your situation. I was trying to be the strong guy. I was trying to be the warrior that says, I could handle this shit. I got this. Like, I don't know. Nobody tell me anything. I know what to do because I had to be that for my employees, had to be that for my family. So it's very important that we as entrepreneurs build community around other entrepreneurs because nobody will understand what we're going through. Just like you said, when you went to another entrepreneur and says, hey, man, I see what's going on, you're able to shift so quickly when other people understand your pain. Because as entrepreneurs, we are here alone. Sometimes we feel like people are around us don't even get us. Like I can't even have a real conversation with regular people because they don't understand the pressure, the risk that sometimes we are risking everything. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been in the line where like this deal, if it doesn't happen, like I'm in a world of pain. Like if this deal doesn't happen, like I'm putting everything in the line, but that's the risk of the entrepreneur that we live for that. That's where we get paid massive amount of money. But at the same time, if we don't have the right strategies, we lose massive amount of money. So I definitely can relate to that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, and that's one of the things I know that you know that I'm currently on a program. It's a long title. It's the USC Latina Executive Leadership Program, and it's basically a program where we're bringing women, Latinas specifically, corporate and entrepreneur, and I'm responsible co-creating the entrepreneur path. But the whole program is called Latina Leadership Academy, and so what it is bringing women together where, you know, well, first of all, we have the same culture. You know, most of these women have MBAs. They're like, you know, they're very successful women, but they feel alone out there. Yeah. So, you know, if you're watching this, even if you're not an entrepreneur, sometimes the higher you go, the more, it's like the lonelier you get, because you can't cry to your neighbor and you can't cry to the people that you're leading. So you really need to surround yourself with the community, you know, and I know that's one thing that you're really out to do. And, you know, last year when we created this program, Dr. Yasmin Davids, it's her program there at USC, I literally got to witness 21 women like bond in 3-4 days in a way I had never seen before, because women, we can be a little catty, right? And you know, let me just brag a little bit here, because the Latino market in 2015 is going to, the spending power is $1.5 trillion, trillion, and 83% of that is in the Latinas' hands. You know, the Latinas are really controlling that 83% of that buying power. You know, if you think about yourself, Raul, you know, yeah, maybe you're the one that brings in whatever you bring in, but a lot of the times it's Vivian that makes the decisions, because you're doing whatever you're doing. You know, whether it's what car we're going to buy for the kids or whatever it is, Vivian most of the time, and as a good husband, you just say, yes, Vivian, right?
I could definitely vouch for that. My wife does 85% of the shopping here. I'm trying to cut that into a 20% now, but she's on warning right now.
Yeah, right. And so 83% of the $1.5 trillion is in the Latinas' hands. And so there's such a huge opportunity out there, but at the same token, there's a huge lack of women and Latinas saying, come on, you can do it. You can climb that ladder, or entrepreneurs. So I'm directing the Latina Entrepreneur Program to be able to tell other entrepreneurs, come on, think bigger, you know, grow. And I know that's something that you're doing with the next level experience. You know, you're around people that challenge you. You know, I got to tell you, yesterday when I spoke to you, I always get uncomfortable when I talk to Raul, people, because I got to bring my game on. Like, he's like, okay, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing this. Well, you should have this by now. I'm like, okay. I always feel like I'm a little bit behind when I talk to you, but that's a good thing, right? Because I don't have a lot of people around me that are challenging me. Like, I am the queen bee, right? And it's like, you've got to go, and like, there's a couple of events that I always go to that I have this saying that says, because people ask me, why do you go to these things? And I don't even get anything from them, but I love going because I feel like I'm a lice on a lice, right? Like, I feel like I'm this little tiny person because everybody around me is playing such a big game. And, you know, it makes me uncomfortable, but, you know, honestly, I think that that's the only way we are going to grow, Latino or whatever you are. Like, we're going to grow by supporting each other, challenging each other, and accepting the challenge. You know, I gotta tell you, yesterday when I spoke to you, and then yesterday when I spoke to AZ, and I was thinking, I was driving home, and I'm like, man, I feel like I'm not doing anything.
That's a great thing about. That's a great thing about having people who hold you accountable to a higher standard. You know, and one of the things that I'm taking away from this conversation is seeing the opportunity. Like, when I met you and you gave me those stats about Latina women entrepreneurs, I mean, that for me was mind-boggling, because you presented in one of my events, and actually you presented, I think it was the first Next Level event that I had, and you went through all the stats about where the Latino community is going in the next 5 years, the next 10 years. And for me, it was like mind-boggling, because we have such a huge opportunity right now. Corporations, companies, if they're not creating products that are catered to Latina women right now, they're going to miss a lot of money in revenue.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's one of the reasons that my wife and I are talking about creating a brand that she's gonna actually launch in the next couple of months, called Ignite Your Passion, when she talks to Latina women about relationships, because it's all about catering to the customer. Who can you relate to? So, you know, you could speak from your truth, which is you're a Latina business entrepreneur, so people relate to you. And that's what I love about pushing each other, is because I could say to you, okay, where are you? But at the same time, it's my mirror. It's like, hey, Raul, you're not doing this, so let's step in the game and make sure that we have our game face on the next time we see each other.
And here we are doing the hangout because of that. So.
Right.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. You know, and then here's the other thing. You know, how the program at USC got started was because corporations are wanting to tap into this market. But it's not enough to just translate. So if you're out there watching and you've got a business and you want to, you know, really tap into this $1.5 trillion, and it's just getting started, and the women entrepreneurs are the fastest growing markets in the U.S. It's the #1 emerging market right now in the U.S. is Latina business owners. And if you want to tap into that market, you got to understand a couple things. #1, you can't just translate things. You can't just translate your website, translate your products. It doesn't work that way. You got to understand us. You got to understand that there's a difference between a Latino and between a Hispanic person. You've got to understand the mindset of how it is that we spend our money. Here's the thing. A man like you, Raul, let's say we were to have, let's say you make $1,000 a year, and then we have a counter person, male, who also makes $1,000 a year. You as Latino spend twice as much money than that Caucasian person.
Wow.
When you get to the upscale Latino, the male that makes over $50,000 a year, they spend ridiculous amount of money because you're probably the first generation that's upscale. I'm talking about an average, upscale, so you have to show your success. You buy the nice watches, you buy the nice shoes, you buy the nice jeans, you got to have the nice car. Even if you're in debt, you go out and spend to show, look, I've made it. And that doesn't happen with the Caucasian or Asian or, maybe African Americans do as well, but not as much as the Latino. And when it comes to products, beauty products, the Latino male spends so much money. I mean, look at your hair, right?
But let me give you a disclosure. I've saved so much money because I've been cutting my hair since I was 15 years old, all right? So I earned the right to spend money because I've saved money in my hair since I was 15 years old. And it's crazy because I see these barbershops, men barbershops in Latino communities, and there's a line at $20 a piece. So I already made the math, and I've saved over probably about $100,000 in haircuts.
I don't believe you cut your hair. I can't believe that. Look at how perfect it is.
I'm going to make a video one of these days of showing people how to cut my hair. So if this next level experience thing doesn't work out, I can always open up a barbershop.
Yeah, no, but absolutely. So, and just to wrap up this whole Latino thing, I mean, I'm just telling you, that's a huge market. The companies are, they're investing so much money in them. And I was just talking to AZ about this yesterday because, he's in real estate, and I was telling him, here's the thing about the Latino market. You treat us well, we are loyal until the end. And not only do you treat us well, we will bring you my tia, my tío. I mean, it's like, if I were to tell my mother, hey, you want to buy a house? Mom, call this person. She doesn't say, okay, why? Let me research them. Let me Google them. We don't do that. If my mother trusts me, she takes my word for it, and she goes for it. And if I tell him, oh, me trató muy bien, he was really kind, he's very helpful, I say a couple of great things about whatever product or person, they don't even question it. Yeah. Because as a family, we're very united. Where I think a lot of other ethnicities, I know a lot of my friends, they'll tell their parents something, and their parents won't believe them. They'll Google it, they'll research it, sometimes they'll go against it just to be a little conflicting. Latinos, we don't do that. We don't do that. It's like you bring the tia, the tío, the cousin, you bring everybody when you believe in something. So if you treat us well, you have a loyalty for generations to come. And companies are now understanding that. Banks, I have a lot of friends in the bank industry. The banks are really getting that, and I'm just telling you, it's such a huge market. So, that's my passion. I love it. And, with this whole, I've been doing, as I've been doing phone calls once a week with people to really to that bilingual market, that bilingual culture is going to be, they have double the spending power. They buy things in Spanish and they buy things in English. They watch Univision and they watch ABC. You've got, these guys are, you can get them from every angle. So it's such an opportunity out there, and I'm excited, to be part of it. This program that I'm involved in is the first ever cultural gender leadership program sponsored by a major university, and it's my alma mater, USC. So I'm so excited about that. Yeah.
No, yeah, I always get, every time I do Spanish videos in my Facebook page, the response is just overwhelming. That for me has been a passion of mine, and the belief that I had is that I didn't have what it takes to speak, Spanish the right way, which, is crazy because that's my first language, which is Spanish. But isn't it crazy how our mind plays tricks on us, saying like, no, you're not good enough for this, so you're not good enough for that. So that's why we actually going to start working on creating a product together, or probably an event together, hopefully the next year, where we fill up events, maybe 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people, because that's my goal. Like when I met Karla, I said my goal in the next 2 years is to fill up the Madison Square Garden, 15,000 Hispanic entrepreneurs, and we're going to talk about business, personal development. We're going to have a concert, and it's going to be just about showing people how to take their life to the next level. And that's one of the things that I love about what you're doing, is because you always go into the next level. And just tell us a little bit about what that means for you. What does going to the next level mean for you?
So it's a couple things. For sure, it's taking my Herbalife business to the next level. I mean, that's my breadwinner. We're doing Herbalife. I said to myself, this is going to be my vehicle to allow me to bring in the revenue, my residual income, to allow me to do the things that I want to do whenever I want to do them. I love Herbalife. It's an amazing company. They're amazing products. And so definitely get to that next level. Building that. Most of my organization is Latino, and I love, love, love helping them build their business and build their fortune. So definitely taking that to the next level. And then on my entrepreneur intelligence side, in January, we're launching the the Global Executive Latina Leadership Academy, and we're going to be doing, it's going to be an 8-month-long program. If you go on entrepreneurintelligence.com, you'll be able to see under programs the link. You have to apply. There's a program for corporate women, for nonprofit, and for entrepreneurs. And I'm personally responsible for teaching the entrepreneurs how to take their business to the next level. We're going to walk them through all the soft skills. I'm not going to be teaching them. We are going to cover accounting and marketing and all that stuff, but really my goal is to teach them the power of you in your business. Because it is you, your mindset, the way you think, how you operate, who you're being under those certain circumstances, that is going to take your business to the next level. You can have the best marketing plan, but if you are not in alignment with that, it's not going to work. So that's another thing that I'm up to. It's going to start in January. The press release will be coming out pretty soon, so I'll definitely put that on my website. And I'm really excited because I got to tell you, not because I'm a woman, but I love seeing Latinas progress, and all women really take their life to the next level. So I really do believe that if we help the number one emerging market is Latinas, and I strongly believe, Raul, that if we help that market, this generation shift, we're going to shift generations to come. Absolutely. My kids, your kids, our grandkids. We're going to just change generations after generations, but it's really up to us. And I think we're in a position right now where it's going to happen. And I'm excited to be part of that. Like I said, it's the first and only program that's sponsored by a major university, and it's such an honor for me to be part of it and to teach these Latina entrepreneurs how to take their life and their business to the next level. So,
awesome. Love it.
My personal life, we'll see what happens with that, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah, well, that's about balance. Everything's about balance. And that's what tell us the experience. You've been to a couple of next level experience events, and we teach at the next level experience the power of proximity, being around people who will push you. But at the same time, we teach about the balance, having a balance in life, having the health, having the relationship, having the business, and having the connection with God. So tell us about, what would you say to people about the last couple of next level experiences that you've attended?
Well, for sure that they're very unique. I've been to many events. I've been to Anthony Robbins. With Herbalife, we're all about personal development, and I've been to so many things, and they're all great. I always get something from all of them. But one of the things that's really unique about Raul's next level experience is that it really is an experience. Number one, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. I remember I went there, and my family's like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to Vegas. For what? I don't know. For this thing. When does it start? I don't know. I knew nothing. I just knew to show up. And, and I have to tell you, as entrepreneurs, I think we're very unique that you can handle all those, you can handle
the personalities.
Yeah, the personalities, but also the uncertainty. There we go. The uncertainty of what's going to happen. And, one of the things that's really unique you're always feeling lonely as an entrepreneur. And one of the things that's really great about the next level experience is that people there are really real.
Mm.
You know, the very first day, I love what you do. I'm not going to spoil it for those that go, but the very first day, what you do where people just get real and they get raw about, look, this is what I've been through. Because the thing is, so many times we go to events and you got to show that everything's perfect, right? Your hair. And I mean, you go there like faking it till you make it kind of thing. And if you're hurting, you can show. But what's really great about your event is that, number one, people feel and they get that there is a safe space. It's a safe space. People open themselves. They share who they really are and what they're really, really going through. And you know, and people really respect that privacy. I know, at least I don't think that any of us have gone around being like, oh my God, could you believe that that person? No, it's like we get it because we're all entrepreneurs. And the other thing that's really unique is that people really care. I can honestly say, thanks to you, Raul, you know, I've made amazing relationships where a lot of the events that I've been to, yeah, we exchange business cards and we get phone numbers, but one of the things that you do so great is that there are so many activities where you have an opportunity to really bond with people and to really get to know them. You know, like I said, I went to dinner yesterday with AZ. I didn't have an opportunity to, and I saw Leo, and I didn't have an opportunity to see Armando, but all these guys were because they went to the next level. And they were not just sitting taking notes. Like we actually, you know, played, what did we play? Well, I won't ruin it, but we played a couple of things in these trampolines. And, you know, and because of all that interaction, we built a relationship that to this day I can, you know, I want to thank you. You know, I can honestly, you know, if I needed anything, if I had, the resources are there and they're real. Yeah. They're not like artificial. I don't know what the right word is. They're very authentic. And, yeah, it's definitely a whole different way of being at a seminar. It's very exciting, and it's all day, but it's very energetic. So, you know, I can honestly say it's very unique experience, and it really is like taking your business, and more than anything, it's your personality and your person. I'm sorry, to another level. So what you got going on is quite unique, Mr. Raul. Just like you, I have to say.
Thanks. You know, I've been to many events too. Like I've been to pretty much over 100 personal development events. And when I create the next level experience, I wanted something that I didn't think that it was out there. Something that you could be real. Something that, you know, people would not judge you. And like you said, like the pain that we feel as an entrepreneur, very few people in life could ever relate. You know, I make this analogy as we are the gladiators in the arena, you know, and everyone is as a spectator. You know, only when you get around gladiators who could really give you the acknowledgement and the feedback based on their past battles, then you could see how blessed you are of being alive. Because the craziest thing, the entrepreneur game, the business game, is like the more you play, the most likely it is that you're going to die. because 9 out of 10 business fail within a 10-year period. So the longer you play, the most likely it is you're going to die. So it's the craziest thing, and that's why I love doing these experiences, because we take people through experiences and we bond together and we make real connections, just like you said, real. I mean, I have connections that I could just call and say, I need this, who do you know, and things happen. So thank you for the feedback. I love it.
You can't buy that. You know, you cannot. I mean, you can buy pretty much everything except for time, right? But you really cannot buy those relationships. And like I said, you know, yesterday when I went, you know, AZ, I met him through your program, and you know, I love seeing his post with his wife, and her name is Karla, so you know, he's got good taste. And so you know, I know how much he loves Jim Rohn, and so you know, I have a couple of books that Jim Rohn personally, you know, autographed for me. And I got to tell you, you know, when I saw it, when I found it, I just moved, the first person I thought of was, I got to give this to AZ. And it's not like I've seen him a lot of times. I've only seen him at your event, but it was real, you know. And like Garrett, I mean, just the things that he taught and being able to experience the speakers and the activities that you do. The speakers went to these activities, so I got to like pick his brain and, you know, apply the whole core 4 concept that, you know, to a lot of my organization that Garrett taught me. So I mean, it's just, I can name names on and on and on, but it's like the relationships are real. And they're safe, you know, and more than anything, there's a lot of integrity in the room. You know, I can honestly say I was telling AZ yesterday that a lot of times when you go, he was at an event, and I'm like, you know, these events sometimes they kind of make me feel weird because people get weird. You know, if you know what I mean, like
I know
guys get
exactly what you mean.
weird, girls they get weird, they drink a little too much, and then it doesn't, you know. And I was telling him, and I was like, you know, it's really great where you can find a space, and I think your event is one of those that you can, it's an intimate space, but everybody's respectful, there's a lot of integrity, the relationships are real, and because everybody's real, there's that foundation of integrity that you're building on every single day, the activities. And I mean, it's definitely, like I said, and I want to thank you, Raul, personally. You know, I mean, you've been such a blessing in my life and in my family's life. You know, you and Vivian, I gotta tell you, I think about your wife all the time. She brought me this beautiful bracelet. I wear it all the time. It's probably one of my favorite bracelets. You know, and it's like that. It's building those relationships. Those things you just can't buy them. You
Yeah.
just cannot buy them. So no
Yeah.
matter how much money you have, I'm telling you, the kind of relationships that you'll build at the next level of experience are just second to none. So I want to, you know, tip my hat out to you because if there's one thing that you know how to do, Raul, is connect people. That's your talent. You should be called the connector.
Yeah. I'm working on creating a social media connection place. What I
There
call it, Raul's Facebook. That's
you
called my
go. The next
Facebook page.
level experience social media, right?
Yeah, go to my Facebook page, and that's where I have all the connections.
There you go. There you
I
go.
love it. Thank you, Carl. Thank you for taking your time and doing this hangout with us. And for all you guys who are watching, just I'll put this in my website, and she'll put it on her website as well. The
Yeah.
whole goal here is, you know, my goal in doing this hangouts is to bring real entrepreneurs, real people who are gonna give you the insights. I mean, I got tons of value from what Carla just shared with us about the Hispanic, you know, Latino women, about the mindset, and about everything that she's doing. So take that, anything that you are learning from these hangouts, just take it and do something with it. Because there's nothing worse than having the knowledge and not applying it. And that's what gets me crazy. And that's when people come to my event, I am a hard ass on making people take action because nothing happens unless you take action. So thank you, Carla. I appreciate you being here with us. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the next level experience.
All right. Thank you so much, and God bless you, to you and your family. Thank you, Raul.
Awesome. Learn it, live it, experience it. Love life.